Welcome to Marketing Monday. We're doing something a little bit different today, and actually, John is with us, which is really, really cool. This is kind of unusual. We're doing some different software.
Yeah, some technology, people complaining about the old technology, so we could
So
try
we
something new.
figured we better upgrade. So this week we are responding to a comment from a listener on iTunes. And first of all, thank you very much for those of you who give us reviews and comment, and whether we agree with them or not. We really appreciate everyone that comments. So let me show you this. This is actually pretty cool. It says, this is from Calvin Shoup. It says, good post, but 5 years in the past. Nice people who run this, but I feel like I'm reading a marketing textbook from 5 years ago when I listen to this. Good information, but older principles. With that being said, the aviation world as a whole is about 5 years in the past. They say, no random acts of marketing, which goes against almost every marketing philosophy I've ever been taught. Marketing to me is standing out and testing new things to get attention. This podcast teaches you to act like everyone else in a bland, old-style, paper-friendly marketing platform. Just isn't where marketing is going. Millennials are starting to become pilots. They're starting to buy planes and aviation products. A flyer doesn't cut it with us. We like all of the information at our fingertips digitally. This podcast tailors its information to the older generation of pilots, which is fine, but it's not going to be working that way in the near future. I'm also an annoying millennial that likes the hottest trends, decent information, but not my cup of tea. Just my opinion, not aviation related, but Gary Vaynerchuk has crazy good advice for today's marketing standards. We love Gary Vaynerchuk, so totally agree on that. What do you think? I think there's a lot to unpack there, right?
Yeah, well, the industry is behind the times. There's nothing to say about that except that it is.
Exactly.
And that's a result of, guess what? The people running the industry are the elders.
Exactly. Well, and another interesting thing is that, Colin assumes that the people that we're marketing to are pilots, and that's not necessarily true.
That's true.
The people that are writing the checks in the aviation industry are the C-level execs of these companies who may or may not be pilots, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so couple of big ideas. One, yes, Colin, the industry is behind the times. Calvin, I'm sorry. Yes, Calvin. Yes, Calvin, the industry is behind the times. And number two, our ideal customer is also behind the times. But yes, you are absolutely right. We should update some things. So the first thing I wanted to mention is that we want to talk about our ideal customer profile, and it is not a 20-something-year-old pilot, right?
Right.
Okay, so every successful marketing campaign has three elements. It is not random, right? None of these elements are random.
Can't be.
Right. When we talk about the list, we want to be very, very specific about who we're trying to reach and plan that out very carefully. We want to make sure that we design an offer that is going to be attractive to that person. And then the presentation, this is where we can exercise some fabulous creativity, and where like somebody like Gary Vaynerchuk, he does a fantastic job of being surprising and cool and all of those things. And that's where we have the opportunity to be maybe not random, but certainly surprising.
Right.
In a very strategic sort of way, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So this is the person, and this is actually just a stock photo. This is not a particular person.
But if you know the guy, it's by chance.
Exactly. So in the aviation industry, the people that are writing the vast majority of the checks for our products and for our customers' products have a specific demographic, and that is male. That is over 45. That is former military, possibly, higher percentage than the average population, college educated, a lot of those kinds of things. And we like to have a really good picture of who that is in our mind when we're creating advertising for this
They're
person,
used
right?
to the, if you will, the Madison Avenue marketing approach, which is the old way of doing things. So we have to blend things
Yeah,
to help move this down the road some.
we are not going to get this person to write a check based on a Periscope or a Snapchat, right?
No.
This
He
is
may
not
not,
the
he
right
might not
demographic.
even have heard the words.
Right. Okay, so this is some information that we do know about this person, and this is from an Aviation Week survey that was done fairly recently. We know that they are influenced by aviation publications. We know that they are also doing a lot more online searches than they did before, which is actually
That's a
fantastic.
good thing.
Yeah, so that agrees with Colin.
Calvin.
Calvin. Okay. Um, they are influenced by colleagues and friends, and to a very small extent, they are influenced by social. At least that's what they say. Right? I'm going to disagree with this just a little bit because what people will say in a survey is not necessarily what is absolutely true, right?
True.
All
I
right.
mean, yes, I agree.
Okay. But that said, there is also, I was sitting at NBAA at one of the little food stands waiting for something, I don't remember. And I was talking to a gentleman, I think he was French, he had a French accent. Anyway, very, very cool accent. But, and he was looking out over this crowd, and we were actually up a little bit because we were on the second level. I don't know if you remember, if you were at NBAA, the Las Vegas Convention Center is kind of on two levels. So there's a place at which you can kind of see the whole thing, which is kind of cool. And he was we were standing there looking down on this busy convention, and he says, "Look at all these old people." And of course, it didn't sound rude because he said it with a French accent.
But he has a point.
Yeah, absolutely. The people who are at the show, the people who are investing in aviation, the people who are making decisions and spending money and all of those things are old people. And that needs to change if the industry is going to survive, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we are, ABCI, John and I, anyway, we are making some really big plans to involve more young people, and to involve more current technologies and things like that. We can't make the world what we want it to be. We have to deal with the world as it is, not as we want it to be. But we do have to prepare for what's coming next. So we do need to engage more of Generation X, Y, and Z, right?
And whatever follows.
And whatever follows, and make sure that we're up with technology and so on. Hence, this Marketing Monday is using slightly different technology than we've used in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of things that we're going to be doing differently. So to agree with, and I'm going to actually look him up, Calvin.
I told you.
To agree with Calvin, John was right. The big ideas, basically the industry is behind the times, our ideal customer is behind the times, and you're absolutely right. We should update a few things, right? So look forward to what that's going to be. We're actually going to be announcing this as we go forward into 2018. First quarter 2018 is pretty much going to be devoted to younger people and newer technology in our industry. So partly due to Calvin and his comment. Thank you very much. We kind of, sort of, partly agree with you, right?
Well, we probably agree with him, but we can't change and cut ourselves out of the industry. We have to change with the industry and try to help it along.
Absolutely. We have to work with what we've got, but work toward what comes next. So
Exactly.
thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to try to do every Marketing Monday at 1 o'clock. This one was a little bit later because, again, we're kind of wrestling with the new technology, right?
Yeah. Yes, it has options that we didn't realize.
Absolutely. So we will see you next week, 1 o'clock Mountain, and that translates to whatever it is wherever you are. And we'll see you next week.
Have a good day. See you.